Hi everyone, I'm Yokasa. Today I will take you to my green room. But before I take you to my green room, I'm going to take you to the inspiration of my green room. Please subscribe and join me, y'all, in my Southern living with the West Coast bilingual accent, where I take you into my art studio, Sanctuary Home, and share playground stories from my two Wilmingtons. I am surrounded by tons of green trees up in the mountains of Boone, North Carolina. I'm going to take you to the inspiration, which is the lovely room that I call the green room of God, nature. There are many occasions where I have found the voice of advocacy and resilience to rise up. First encounter of hearing the voice of protest or an activist was when I was in my mother's womb. I don't know how far along she was from being pregnant of me. So the story goes that my mother and father went to an abortion clinic. They were young Mexican immigrants finding themselves in America. They had 3 children already and were living with a family member. So they really felt that they couldn't give a good future for their newest child. They're in the abortion clinic. They were thinking they could just get an abortion for free. And they realized that there was a fee to it, so they went back home. And when they went back home, a family member was there visiting. It was my father's aunt. Her name was Maria de Jesus Castañeda. For me, she was my angel, my activista. And she scolded them and said, "What are you thinking? In our faith, we do not destroy life, but we give life, and we trust in God." And because of her voice and her reasoning, my parents listened. And that was my first active hearing of when you need to speak up. The dramas, the plays of Victory Outreach. And I would hear the testimonies of the conversion of a young cholo or chola and how they came to the light and found the forgiveness of Jesus Christ and how he came to feel that shame, that emptiness, that hunger of belonging that the barrio was not providing in such a deep, radical way within our spirit. They were giving it all. They were gangbanging. They were going into prison. They were getting into fights. But when the light of the gospel of Jesucristo appeared in their lives through somebody that did an outreach, we're seeing the faces and the drama and the acting and the tears. Even all the chola looked so beautiful with their featherback hair and eyeliner and makeup. That was my Broadway. That was me being part of a Lion King production. It was actually Victory Outreach, and it was free, and it was in my community. When you find that encounter with the Creator, with a faith, prayers, conversion, it's all possible. By proclaiming that experience, by sharing that testimony, that could influence other people and other groups that are in the similar place. I was part of Dotson Middle School. For a Mexican American wannabe chola, just because I like how I look, not so much because I wanted to live the lifestyle. I then became part of that whole group in the mind of biased adults. And in this case was my 7th grade teacher, who decided to label all of his students who were Mexican descent. And he decided to label us as gangbangers and destroying the school by graffiti, and he was so sick of tired of the buses picking us, taking us out of the hood so that we could come to a better school, and yet we were destroying his campus. I listened to that statement, was used to it, but something in my heart, my fire, the voice of reasoning of activists said, hey, that's not you, Yolanda. You don't do that. Yes, you live with them. Yes, you might look like them, but you don't do that. You actually go to junior high and you work hard to pass your classes. And I said, excuse me, but not everybody is a gangbanger. I come with those kids from the bus, but you don't see me tagging. You don't see me gangbanging. And the teacher looked at me and put his head down. I so clearly remembered, because I spoke up for the first time against that bias, against that prejudice, in labeling us all. The whole entire time I was in Dotson Junior High, he respected me and he showed it, and I am grateful for that experience. I continue to turn in my assignments that he would give us, and I remember reading all the books he would give us, Catcher in the Rye, and I would be replying and responding to my journal entries, even though I didn't live that lifestyle, couldn't understand it. But girl, let me tell you, I was putting myself in it and assimilating into the writer's experience, which as Mexican Americans we're always trying to assimilate, to survive, to understand the dual identity. So those 3 experiences of hearing the voice of activism, protest, or of seeing the virtue and the potential of humanity. It doesn't matter where you come from, but knowing that you want love, justice, and hope and equality to represent the dignity found in your people. Ooh, that's like my sopita calientita, mi cafecito that ignites me with hope.